Friends, in today's world, we see a lot of people who have wonderful pictures on their social media, all smiling, all happy, great images that portray a happy and successful life. But behind these smiling faces on the social media posts, we often find a very aching heart that wonders and wishes that some of the challenges of their life would actually move away. Today's world is filled with so many challenges, so many problems, a lot of stress around, a lot of issues that come in to hurt us and to make it difficult for us to live a happy and fulfilling life. At such stages, a lot of people tend to get stuck because there's a lot of issues that happen in the brain where people start focusing on the problem and the challenges rather than the many opportunities and the solutions that are actually around us as well. I strongly believe that when life throws a challenge at us, it also gives us the solutions in a package together with it. We need to be able to find those solutions and to apply them into our lives. In my book, Let's Move Mountains, the proven path to overcoming challenges, I have used a lot of the information and knowledge that I've gained over the many years, not just in my corporate career of over 25 years, and not just the very valuable and meaningful and insightful interactions and personal training that I have received from various leadership gurus like Dr. Stephen Covey, Dr. Glenn Blanchard, Dr. Edward de Bono, the inventors of the Balance Scorecard, Dr. Kaplan and Dr. Norton, and many others. I believe that if we adapt a few certain simple solutions, simple techniques, we will be able to overcome a lot of these challenges. And that's the gist of my book. It provides the readers with a lot of information that can actually help them to snap out of the challenges that they are facing. I'm going to explain a few of these to you in the next few minutes. I'm sure that you will find this value-adding and meaningful. One of the very first steps when it comes to overcoming certain challenges or problems in our life is to identify the fact that there is a problem or there is a situation that needs to be changed. So we need to introspect, look deeply within us and try to identify what are these challenges that we are actually facing and what are the difficulties that we need to start overcoming. We may actually have really large mountains, or we may actually be focusing on a small mountain which actually is a molehill, which hasn't even grown big enough to be a mountain, but we carry that weight on our shoulder, making it so difficult for us to live a normal life on a daily basis. We may have challenges related to families, we may have challenges related to children at home, it may be relationship issues, it may be problems related to your job, it may be financial trouble, and more recently, whatever challenges that COVID brought upon humanity. There may be anything, but what we need to do is to focus a little bit, to introspect a little bit, and to identify first of all, what are the challenges in our life. One of the easiest ways to do it is to get it out of the mind, because when it's all in the mind, it's going to challenge us so much more, and it's going to make it a lot more difficult for us to actually see clear, because we are all clouded. Everything in the mind is completely clouded at that time. So what we need to do is to take it out of our mind and put it onto a piece of paper. Write down on a piece of paper what are those challenges that you are facing in your life. And when you actually write them down, you may even find out some of these challenges are not so difficult and not so big enough to worry about. And once you have these challenges written down on a piece of paper, there's a lot that we can do with it. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about now. But before we go into that, I would like us to remember that many of us are following or chasing our wants in life and not necessarily the needs in our life. So when there is a focus on the wants, these wants are never ending, but the needs are fixed. We need certain things in our life on a daily basis. And for all I know, We are already having all those things, and we are having a really blessed life. However, a lot of our people focus on the wants in life. And when you are actually chasing the wants in life, this is a never-ending cycle. These wants keep changing on a daily basis. And as and when this moving target is running away from us in front, we keep chasing it and we are never satisfied. We may have a great job, but we want a better job. And when we have a better job, we may want something better than that. And then we want a house. And when we actually have a house, we want a bigger house. And when we have a bigger house, we want something more than that. Because somebody else whom you see on social media or you compare ourselves with may be leading a different life. The problem is that their life is a different story altogether and ours is a different story. We may not be in a position, and it may not be the right thing to do, to compare our story with their story, because they may be in a completely different race altogether. So one of the easiest ways to overcome some of our challenges is to ensure that we are focusing and chasing our needs in life and not necessarily the wants that keep changing on a daily basis. We also need to look at the larger picture. What is it that we are here for in this world? What is our true purpose of life? And what is it that we will be remembered for long after we are gone? So if we are focusing only on living a life where we look at ourselves, try to enhance everything that we do, and leave this world exactly the way that it was when we came into this world, we haven't added any value. So our entire purpose of life needs to be to look at what is the value that we can add to this world before the time is out. And when we see the larger picture, we start realizing that a lot of the mountains that we have in our life are really so small, really so insignificant. If we look at ourselves in the larger scheme of things, if you think about how small we are when we compare ourselves to the rest of the universe, just to compare yourself with the rest of the country or the rest of the world or the rest of the galaxies or rest of the entire the universe out over there that God has created. We are so small, we are so small and insignificant. And so how big can actually our problem be? Nothing is forever, right? Because we are not going to be here forever. We are here for a short period of time. So what we can actually do is to enjoy every gift that we have and that has been bestowed upon us. Because that will make us happy, that will make us satisfied. And then all of a sudden, our entire perspective about life and the perspective about the problems in our life, the mountains in our life will change. One of the biggest challenges that a lot of people face is that when they have a problem in life, we focus only on the problem. And when we focus on the problem, automatically the brain has the ability to make it look much bigger than it actually is. And when that happens, all hell breaks loose because we lose the ability to start looking at the solutions. So what we need to do is to go back to the list that you prepared right at the beginning. What are the problems that we have? And then start looking at what are the solutions that you can actually have to overcome some of these challenges. Where are we today? Where do we want to get to? So the present state and the desired state, and then let's put an action plan in place in a few bullet points, in a few points on your piece of paper. Where are we today and where do we want to get to and how do we get there and what action needs to be done? And then we start taking those actions. We start implementing those actions. Because when we start taking the baby steps, we have already started working on resolving the situation. And this is one of the key takeaways that I would be giving in this book on how we can actually move towards solving some of these problems. How can we take those baby steps and how can we measure and monitor our progress to ensure that we are actually moving towards a solution and not just talking about it. It's also a lot important for us to have the power of faith in us because we need to believe that all these things will change. The problems that we face will eventually go away. All we need to do is to start working on it. And if you're a religious person, believe that God has something bigger, something greater, something better waiting for you. And we start focusing on that. And then all of a sudden, we will not be so scared anymore. Because when we are scared, when we are fearful, the mind goes into a block. We go into a freeze situation where we are unable to take steps and move forward. So the power of focus and the power of faith are two of the main tools that you will be using to overcome the mountains in your life and to move forward. One of the simplest ways to do this is also to implement and bring into our life positive thoughts and positive words. For everything and everything. Instead of saying, if I could overcome this challenge, or if I could earn more money, or if I could have more happier relationship at home. Let's simply replace the word if with when, and then you'll start seeing the change almost instantly. So instead of saying if I earn more money, you start saying when I earn more money, or when I start getting a better job, or when I start improving my relationship, or when I have a better connection with the children at home, or whatever it may be. The word when replacing the word if, will automatically start bringing a positivity around the situation, and you will start seeing that change happening in your life, and your mountains will eventually start moving. But it's not just enough for us to think about these situations or think about these solutions. The power of action is one of the chapters of the book that talks about the need for us to actually take action. It's about moving from where we are into where we want to be. The action is what makes a big difference. Otherwise, we'll be sitting in there, stuck in a rut, thinking about our problems, worrying about our problems, rather than taking some action and moving forward. There are simple things that we can do to bring positivity into our lives. And this could be as simple as saying thank you to people. Start noticing the positives in people. Instead of all the negativity around you, start looking at what do I have? What is the positive things that I have in my life? What is it that I can be grateful for? What is it that I can be thankful for? So what you can do now is to go back to your list of all the challenges that you have. Keep it over there. Take another piece of paper and start writing on it 10 things that you are thankful for, 10 things that you are blessed with, 10 things that you can be happy about in your life. Yes, you have your problems. Yes, you have your mountains in life, but there are also great things happening to you at this moment. The very fact that you are alive today, the very fact that you have a roof over your head, the very fact that you have food in your plate are all positive things in your life. The very fact that some of your family members or all your family members are still with you today after, just imagine in the last couple of years' time, how many families have been shattered by the loss of dear and beloved ones in their houses because of the COVID situation. So when you compare yourself with that, you're so lucky. I mean, some of you may have actually undergone some problems during the COVID time. You may have lost some of your beloved ones also. I'm sorry about that, and I feel the pain that you go through. But what about the ones that are still there? What about the fact that there are so many people out over there who actually survived this challenging period of time? This is something that you can be thankful for. This is something you can put on that piece of paper. The very fact, all the examples that I gave you, put them right on a piece of paper and look at it on a daily basis. And then the start of the day and at the end of the day, spend 5 minutes. I'm not asking for too much. 5 minutes of your day to focus on all the blessings you have in your life and be thankful. And if you're a religious person, thank the Creator. If not, thank the universe. Whatever it may be thankful, be appreciative, and all of a sudden you will see that the perspective starts changing. Things that get positive in yourself, things get positive around you, and the action would have started, and your mountain would have started moving. One more simple step that we can do is to bring in cheerfulness into our life. There are so many things that may be stressing you out, but even simplest of things, if you start laughing at it, be happy about it, and express it in your mind, be joyful. And when you have joy in your life, when you have happiness in your life, you have ease in your mind. And when your mind is not at ease, that is where diseases start coming in. So you don't want to get into a situation where you force yourself, worry so much about the things that are happening in your life, so that you start developing diseases in your life. You don't want that to happen. So be a sponge, absorb the challenges that are all around you. The world also has great things that are happening, and be happy about it, and you will start seeing positive changes in your life. Many individuals that I come across have a problem where they start reacting to a stimulus around them. Somebody came and shouted at you, somebody came and made a situation that is difficult for you. So the first thing that we do is to fight back. And when we actually fight back, the conflict arises over there. One of the easiest ways to overcome some of the challenges that you face is to be more responding to the situation rather than reacting to the situation. For this, you could take a few seconds, because when you are pressurized with problems, there's a lot of hormones that are released in your brain. And when these hormones are released into your brain, what happens is you tend to lose focus. and then you start reacting in a way that may actually make the situation worse and spoil the relationship that you may have with the individual or the situation around you. So what you need to do is to take a 6-second break. Take a 6 seconds break, and within those 6 seconds, just count. I mean, somebody said something to you nasty, and you want to shout, or you want to hit them, or you want to really get back at them. But what you could simply do is to take 6 seconds, count in your mind 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and within these 6 seconds, all those hormones which are released into your brain get reabsorbed into your system, and then you can think clearly. And when clarity of thought is there, there will be clarity of action. And that action would be a proper, appropriate response to the situation rather than a reaction to the situation. Small changes like this, if we bring them into our life, you will start noticing that the mountains in your life have started moving. Sometimes what happens also is that our mind is filled with so many issues at the same time. Some of these problems or the challenges may be from the past. Problems you had in the past, but you actually moved on from there, but you still hold on to them in your brain. You harbor them so deep that you find it difficult to move away from there, to break away from the clutches of those challenges and move on in life. I would like to give you a technique of 3 circles. You use 3 circles to put your stress and your problem into the right appropriate pockets. So if it's a problem from the past, okay, leave it over there. If it's something to do with the future, you're worried about the future, you're worried about what's going to happen to you in a few years from now, what's going to happen to your family when you are not there, or what's going to happen when something bad may happen, the economic situations may change, and when you start focusing on things that are not yet here, but you start thinking about something that could happen in the future, and then you upset your todays, and then you are so loaded with problems that you do not have enough time to focus on the solutions, and you start getting worried about the situation. So what you could do is to clearly put your issues into certain buckets. Are they something from the past? Learn from the experience, move on in life. If it's something about the future, don't worry about it yet. It's good to know about it, keep it on your radar, but don't so focus on that and to worry about it so much that you ruin your todays. Let it come when it comes, face it when it comes, and you will be able to solve it when it happens. But today you focus on the present. So you have the past, you have the present, and you have the future. So you will focus on your present. Whatever the situation you have in the present, put them on that piece of paper that we started off right at the beginning with, and say, these are things that we need to work on. This is where I am today, the present situation. This is where I want to get to in terms of the change that you want to make, that is the desired situation, and how do we get there through the various steps, and then start taking action. So put your issues and problems in the right timelines, and you will be able to overcome them. We also find that a lot of the people who face difficulties in life or challenges in life, and you see a big mountains in their life, are because they are so rigid and they cannot be flexible enough to, I want something and it must happen exactly that way. If things happen even if I get what I want, but if it came to me in a little different form or a little different from the way that I had perceived it to be, then I am not happy. That causes challenges. That causes problems. So if you're flexible enough to accommodate certain variations in what you wanted in life, but still you shall get what you wanted in life, but it may be slightly different from what you wanted, and still you are happy, then you will find that there are not many challenges or problems that appear in your life. Because rigidity in our life is one of the key challenges that many people encounter on a daily basis. So be flexible. Life is not very serious. Life is very simple actually. It's just that we make it out to be more complicated. We make it out to be more so serious that then we get stuck in that seriousness. That becomes our normal way of doing things. So we need to be able to come out of that, and we need to be able to be more flexible, more relaxed, and enjoy the day as it comes. Enjoy every blessing that you have on a daily basis, and move on in life. This is a beautiful world. You have a few years of our life to live in. It is about how we live those lives without worrying too much about all the things that are standing in front of you from achieving what you really wanted to achieve. I'm not by any means saying that we shouldn't work on our challenges. We should work on our challenges. We should fix our challenges. Take the actions. Have the faith, as I mentioned a few minutes ago. But don't let it bug you down. Don't let it be that mountain standing in front of you that you cannot circumvent. You can circumvent this mountain. You can conquer this mountain. It's just those baby steps need to be taken. And there's only one person standing in front of you, standing in the way of you achieving and overcoming these challenges. That's you. Because nobody else is going to solve your problems for you. It's our responsibility to fix our own situations. It's our responsibility to scale our own mountains. Nobody else is going to do. You can blame others. You can always blame others and say, all this is happening to me because of somebody else. And this is the one easy way to get away from it, right? So we can play the victim and we can remain in our own problem zone without actually coming out of it and moving forward, because we believe that everything is happening bad to us because of somebody else, or because my spouse, or because my employer, or because of the economy, or because of the politicians, you can always put a because of for somebody else. But who's going to fix this for you? What can you do about it? What are you going to do about it? All these situations will still be there. These challenges will still be there. But how are you going to handle these challenges? And that's the whole difference between the people who get stuck and the people who go on in life and overcome the mountains. This book that I have written now is actually providing a lot of simple tools and techniques that we've mentioned so far, and a lot more that's going to help us to overcome those challenges. And then I assure you that your mountains would have started moving, and you will go on to live a very value-adding and a very successful and a very happy and a very fulfilling life. We need to remember that problems are there for everybody. It's not just you. Sometimes we feel, why is all this happening to me? Why me? But it's not just you. Believe me, everybody all around you have their own mountains in their life. Some of them don't see just the mountains. They have already started seeing the possibilities, they have already started seeing the solutions, and they have started working towards it. So they can actually move forward with confidence. All we need to do is to identify the challenges, mark them down, start developing the steps to move forward, come up with an action plan, start taking those baby steps, and then make sure that you are monitoring the progress as we go towards the achievement of our solutions. And if something is not working, and some solutions may not work, and this is the natural standard way of things that happen in the world, things don't always go as we plan. So sometimes what happens is, if things didn't happen and if we fail, we're going to worry about it and say, oh, I tried but it didn't work, and then you give up. But we never give up. Don't give up. If something didn't work, try again. And something that didn't work, try again. Something different. And it's always, you all heard this, that you cannot expect to get different results if you kept on applying the same solutions. So if you are not getting the result or the change that you desired, and you're not able to get what you wanted by applying certain things, try changing it. Look for a better solution. Look for a different solution. Do things differently. Because if you kept doing the same thing the same way, nothing's going to change. So you need to start looking at something different. You need to start looking at the situation differently. You need to start looking at the solutions differently. You need to start thinking about different solutions sometimes. And then start working on it. And obviously, if one didn't work, try again. And if that didn't work, try again. And if that didn't work, try again. We all know about the story about Edison and his light bulbs, right? So it's the same situation. Some of them say he did 6,000 times, or some of them say 10,000 times he tried to create the light bulb and it failed. So if it was me or you, probably we would have given up long early and then run away from the situation saying, look, this is not going to work, this thing is not going to happen. So what would have happened? The world would have still remained without a light bulb until somebody else may have come up with a solution there. But when somebody asked Edison what actually happened, he said, now I know 9,999 ways how not to create a light bulb. See the perspective. He saw it differently, and then he started looking at how else can I try to do it until he succeeded. And that's exactly what we need to do when we face challenges in our life and we face mountains in our life. We find out how to overcome these challenges, and believe me, we will find the right solution and you will be able to implement it. It's just that you need to have the power of faith in you, the power of focus in you, and stop chasing the wants in life, start focusing on the needs in life, and you will find that you are going to be successful. Believe me, I also have a lot of challenges in my life. I have experienced a lot of problems, a lot of ups and downs in my life. I am writing this book using some of the tools and techniques that I was able to apply in my own life to overcome some of the challenges that I have. When challenges come, there will always be opportunities. And it's a very, very simple logic. It comes in as a package. There are problems, there are solutions, but they are not kept together and given to you in one piece of paper. It's up to us to go out there and find those solutions and work on them. May you have a successful life. May you be able to move your mountains. Identify your mountains, work on them, move them. Be successful. God bless you all. Have a great day.